Hey, welcome. So today we're diving into a book that's been a game changer for so many people who feel creatively stuck, Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way. Now, this is way more than just a book about making better art. Think of it as a 12-week hands-on course, a spiritual journey, really, to get back in touch with that creative self you might feel like you've lost.
Let's just get right to it with a big question. Have you ever bought into that whole idea of the tortured artist? You know, the myth that incredible, genius-level work has to be born from chaos and pain. We see it in movies, we read about it, but honestly, that belief, it's a trap. It keeps us thinking we have to be broken to create anything worthwhile, and that just leads to burnout and, well, silence.
But what if there's another way? Julia Cameron completely flips that script. She suggests something pretty radical, that true creativity doesn't come from pain at all. It comes from a spiritual connection to joy. So this book, it's like a mentor in your pocket, guiding you through what she calls creative recovery. It's all about finding a way to create that's actually sane and sustainable.
And this slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the myth. It's all ego, willpower, this constant fight that just burns you out. But on the other side, you have the reality that Cameron points to, the healthy artist. They find their creativity in joy, they learn to surrender and let things flow, and they nurture their talent. The big shift here is moving from being destroyed by your gifts to being responsible for them.
And that leads to this huge change in how you see yourself. Instead of being this lone genius who has to wrestle every single idea into existence, what if you're just a channel? This quote from Mondrian nails it. Creativity flows through you, not just from you. And wow, does that take the pressure off. Suddenly, your job isn't to be a genius. It's just to show up and be open.
Now, if you're going to be a channel, you need a source, right? Cameron calls it the great creator. And let's be super clear, this has nothing to do with organized religion. It's a really flexible idea. You can call it the universe, source, flow, whatever word feels right to you. The name itself doesn't matter. What matters is the practice of just trying on the idea that there's this positive, creative energy out there that you can actually tap into.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, how do I actually connect to that source? This is where it gets really practical. Cameron gives us two core, non-negotiable tools to get started. I like to think of them as your compass and your map for this whole journey inward.
First up, your compass, the morning pages. The idea is so simple. Every morning, right when you get up, you write 3 pages by hand. About anything, literally. I'm so tired, I don't know what to write, the dog is looking at me funny, I need to remember to buy milk. It's not supposed to be poetry, it's not art at all.
And here's why this is so brilliant. First, it's a brain drain. You get all that junk, all the anxieties and to-do lists out of your head and onto the page. But the real magic is that it helps you sneak past your inner critic, that voice Cameron calls the censor. When you're just writing fast without stopping to think, that logical, judgmental part of your brain just can't keep up. And in the quiet space that's left, you can finally start to hear what you actually think and feel. So if the morning pages are about clearing things out, the second tool, your map, is all about filling yourself back up. It's called the art estate. This is a weekly, scheduled time that's all about playing, exploring, and just having fun. The whole point is to feed and nurture your inner artist child. You know, that curious, playful part of you where all the best ideas really come from.
Now, there are a few rules here, and they're important. It has to be solo, just you. This is about reconnecting with what you find interesting, nobody else. And it has to be about play, not work or productivity. The goal is to fill the well, to stock your imagination with new sights, sounds, and ideas. The morning pages are you sending out, and the art estate is you taking in. You need both. All right, a little heads up. Starting this process isn't always a walk in the park. Remember, it's a recovery. And just like any recovery, it can stir things up. When you start waking up a part of yourself that's been asleep for a long time, things can feel a little chaotic at first.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? As you start to pull away from those old, self-sabotaging habits and beliefs that kept you stuck, you might feel all over the place. As your guide here, I want you to know that's a sign that it's working. That's what healing feels like. So just trust the process.
And here's a little map of the emotional landscape you might travel through. You'll probably start off feeling excited, maybe a little giddy. But don't be surprised when anger and grief show up. That anger is for everyone and everything that ever told you weren't creative. And the grief is for all the art you never got to make. But you have to move through those feelings to get to the other side, where you'll find hope, and then faith, and finally, real autonomy.
So what's the destination?
Where is all this work leading? It's leading to something called creative autonomy. That's a place of freedom where you're no longer controlled by your moods or your inner critic or your fears. It's when you finally learn to trust yourself and your own creative gut.
This beautiful quote from Martha Graham really gets at the heart of why this matters so much. That creative energy inside you. It's completely unique, it has never existed before, and it will never exist again. And if you block it, that one-of-a-kind expression is lost to the world forever. That's not meant to create pressure. It's an invitation to see just how important your unique voice really is.
To keep that channel open, you have to adopt a new mindset, one that's built on self-compassion. Give yourself permission to be new at this, to be a little awkward, to make some bad art. Honestly, you have to be willing to be a bad artist before you can become an artist at all. When you can fall in love with the process, the simple act of doing it, the end product kind of takes care of itself. And you finally accept that creativity isn't something you have to earn. It's just who you are.
And maybe this is the biggest shift of all. The whole point of the artist's way isn't about getting famous or making a ton of money. It's about internal freedom. It's about the deep, satisfying joy of living a life that feels more authentic, more vibrant, more you. And the art you make along the way, that's just the beautiful evidence of a life well lived.
So we'll end on this core idea from Cameron. Those creative dreams you have aren't just random ideas. They are callings, assignments, if you will, that are tailor-made just for you from that creative source. So the only real question left is, are you ready to answer the call?